welcome back to my channel. I'm Tanya Ray, and today we're doing a reading on the collective energy around this summer solstice. So specifically those of us who are in the Northern Hemisphere and will be celebrating the summer solstice or experiencing it in some way. This reading, like I said, is for the collective. I will be doing a pick a card reading if you would like a slightly more personalized message. And as always, you can book with me for private readings if that is something that you would prefer to do. With that said, never make something fit that does not feel aligned to you. I always have to give that spiel before I start because I want people to feel empowered to trust their own intuition. And I never want to deliver messages or have people receive messages from others that do not feel aligned, and yet they own them anyway because they don't trust their intuition. So with that said, like I said, that's a lot of saids. Welcome back. Welcome for the first time. I'm so happy to have you here. And let's get started on what the collective messages are. I'm going to highlight what this deck is because it's one of the coolest decks that I own, in my opinion. And I don't read from it very much because it does have some really strong energy. And yeah, that's all I'm going to say about it. But this is called Unveiling the Golden Age, and it's by Izzy Ivy. It's considered a visionary tarot experience. So it's a little bit different than your traditional tarot deck. All right, with that spiel out of the way, and no, this isn't sponsored content, we've got Meadow, Ace of Earth Guardians. So this would be the Ace of Pentacles in our traditional deck. So whatever we're planting over this summer solstice is likely to bloom in this season. And I know that probably sounds pretty cliche, but I would really recommend doing something with that. I think I said this with one of the past readings. I think it was the Goddess reading. A couple of the pick a cards, it really came up that one of the things that we could do to symbolize the goddess energy and growth that comes with it, the transformation that comes with it, and being able to actually see that happening is planting something into the earth or into a pot and watching it grow. So if this is something that calls to you, understand that you could actually practice this as something to celebrate the summer solstice. There are things that still can be planted now that are probably you're going to be able to reap their harvest in the fall time, autumn equinox or something like that. But it doesn't matter it doesn't have to be something that gives you some sort of fruit or vegetable. It doesn't have to be food. You can plant flowers or whatever you want. But basically the whole thing is that I'm trying to say is a big theme of this summer solstice is really paying attention to where you are putting your intention. Are you planting seeds? Because where you're planting seeds is what is going to grow over this season. So get intentional about that because it can build a strong foundation that could be financially lucrative, could be very rewarding in other ways, and help to create stability. Obviously, we're talking about the ace, so it's just the beginning of the road there, but, looking at new beginnings. All right, we've got geometric coherence, and that is the Three of Portals. This is traditionally the Three of Cups. Makes some sense being that they're portals because water is a portal. The Three of Portals or the Three of Cups, which is the water element, is all about celebration of friendships and that connection and connecting in with the people that are closest to you. And this makes a lot of sense for summer solstice. This is the energy that feels really big, is that celebration energy, that connection energy. And if you can participate in something to celebrate the solstice, it works out really nicely that I believe it's on Friday this year, but it doesn't have to be right on that day. It can be a celebration throughout the weekend, what have you. But celebrating that a little bit more can be very helpful to bringing in the things that you're trying to manifest, the things you're trying to create, as well as when we bring more joy into our lives, it does open up doors for us. So really celebrate this time. And you can use the water element to do that. I usually feel like fire. I'm not 100% sure about that, so this is just what's coming up. That fire, like a bonfire or something, is really great for celebrating the summer solstice. However, pay attention to where you are and if that's appropriate based on if you have a fire ban or high fire risk and that sort of thing. I probably shouldn't have to say that, but just in case. But even if you want to be near water or in water or use water in some way for this celebration. But again, what I'm feeling like is having some sort of gathering, some sort of party, even if it's with your just immediate family, and enjoying life more, because the more you do that, the more that you bring in. And when I think summer solstice, I think, okay, sun, right? We're celebrating the sun because that's the day of the year that is the longest, the most amount of sunlight. And the sun in tarot is all about that celebration and joy energy and enjoying your life, and that brings in the success. You can't make this up. You really can't make it up. So we've got celebration next, which is the 4 of light codes, and the 4 of light codes is the fire element. So fire and water, using the elements in general, I would say, is probably a good idea, or can be beneficial, because we also, so far we have everything but air represented in this reading. We have earth, water, and fire. And working with the elements can always be very helpful to not only bring in our manifestations, but to help us connect more deeply with the earth and with, our inner magic, I feel like, and understanding that we have so many resources available to us that we take for granted. So I digress, but celebration, 4 of light codes, often known as usually known as the 4 of wands. And as you can see, this is the celebration energy as well. It's also typically thought of as union, sometimes can be marriages and other types of reunions, and anything that brings people together to celebrate is what this energy is about. And we were just talking about possibly using bonfires, which is fitting for the fire element there. And I feel like we have one more card to round this part out. I have to be honest, I had to actually look this one up, so I paused for a minute. Action beyond the ordinary, initiate of light codes. I guess I could have done the math and found out that that was the page and not the Knight of Wands in a typical tarot, but it actually is the page. I was hung up on the action word because that tends to be more so our Knight, whereas the page or the initiate is all about the new beginning, that spark of inspiration that comes in a lot of the time when we're having more fun in our lives, when we're shaking things up a little bit and we get this new sense of clarity and excitement around what we're doing or where we're headed, even if we don't really know what that looks like yet. We started out the reading talking about new beginnings and the fact that perhaps what you plant seeds in around this time has the potential to grow and to build a strong foundation for yourself. And we're ending it talking about this new beginning being something that you're truly passionate about, that lights you up, that you're excited to get up every day and work on and think about and plan and all of the things. So I would highly recommend to use this fiery energy to create something, to get creative, to have more fun with it. And bonus points if you can include the people that are important to you in some way. Some kind of art or crafts or something like that that gets those creative juices flowing. And then thinking about, what am I stepping into in this new season, this literal new season of my life, right? What am I stepping into, and does it feel like it's heart-led? And I think this is really a great place to stop this reading, because it feels like it encompasses the energies that are most potent over the summer solstice and what we need to know, or what would be useful for us to know, which is that whatever we're planting has the potential of growing, and maybe focus a little bit more on celebration and ceremony energy, whatever that looks like to you. I'm not here to tell you how to do that, because I think it's most important that each person or group of people realizes what makes sense to them and what feels good to them and their group of people. But there is a strong emphasis on connection and having some fun with the people that are important to you. And that doesn't necessarily mean that you have to intentionally be having a summer solstice ceremony if the people in your life are like, what are you talking about? But have some sort of gathering, some sort of fun, and maybe incorporate something creative into that can be really helpful in opening you up a little bit more to the possibilities, and it could bring in some clarity on what that next step is. So with that, I hope you have the most amazing summer solstice. If you would like a little bit more of a personalized reading where you choose your message based on your own intuition, that will be linked to this video and you can go check that out. Please leave me a comment with your takeaways. How, if at all, do you plan on celebrating the summer solstice? And I hope you have the most amazing day. I will see you soon.